The alarm clock screamed at 6:30 a.m., just like it had for the past 3 years. Maya Rodriguez rolled out of bed and rubbed her tired eyes. Her shift at Seattle General Hospital had ended only an hour ago, but she could not sleep yet. She had things to do before going home to her daughter. Maya walked to the small bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. Dark circles under her brown eyes showed how tired she was. Her black hair was messy from the long night of taking care of patients. She was only 28 years old, but working night shifts as a nurse made her feel much older. She put on clean jeans and a blue sweater. The clothes were old but clean. Maya did not have money for new clothes very often. Being a single mother was hard, especially when you worked at a hospital that did not pay very well. The small apartment was quiet. Her daughter Sophie was still sleeping in the next room. The 8-year-old girl had school in a few hours, but Maya would be asleep by then. This was their life now. Maya worked all night and Sophie went to school all day. They saw each other, mostly in the evenings. Maya picked up her purse and counted the money inside. $23 and some coins. It was not much, but it would be enough for what she needed to do. She wrote a quick note for Sophie and left it on the kitchen table. The note said she would be back soon and that there was cereal in the cupboard for breakfast. The morning air was cold as Maya walked down the street. Seattle in October was always chilly, and she pulled her sweater tighter around her body. The city was waking up. Cars drove by, and people walked to work or to the bus stop. Everyone looked busy and worried about their own problems. Maya walked 3 blocks to Danny's Diner. It was a small place that served breakfast all day. The food was not fancy, but it was good and cheap. The owner, Danny, was a nice man who had run the diner for 20 years. He knew Maya by name and always smiled when she came in. "Good morning, Maya," Danny said when she walked through the door. The smell of bacon and coffee filled the air. "The usual?" "Yes, please," Maya said. She sat down at the counter and waited. Danny knew her order by heart. 2 breakfast sandwiches with eggs, bacon, and cheese. 1 cup of coffee. Everything to go. While she waited, Maya looked out the window. Across the street, she could see the small alley between 2 old buildings. There was a man sitting there, leaning against the brick wall. He was old, maybe 60 or 70 years old. His clothes were dirty and torn. His gray hair was long and messy. His face was covered with a thick beard. The man was homeless. Maya had seen him there for months now, always in the same spot. He never asked people for money. He just sat there quietly, watching the world go by. Most people walked past him like he was not even there. Maya felt sorry for him. She knew what it was like to not have enough money. After her husband died in a car accident 2 years ago, she had almost lost her apartment. She worked extra shifts at the hospital just to pay the rent and buy food for Sophie. Some nights, she went to bed hungry so her daughter could eat. "Here you go," Danny said, putting a paper bag on the counter. 2 breakfast sandwiches and 1 coffee. That will be $8. Maya paid for the food and took the bag. But instead of leaving, she looked at Danny. "Can you make 1 more? Sandwich? Just eggs and bacon, nothing fancy." Danny smiled. He had seen Maya look out the window at the homeless man many times. "Sure thing. On the house." "No, I can pay," Maya said. She did not want charity even though money was tight. "I know you can," Danny said. "But let me do this. That old man has been sitting out there for months, and you are the first person who wanted to help him." Maya felt her eyes get wet. People could be so kind sometimes. Danny put another sandwich in the bag and refused to take any more money. Maya thanked him and walked outside. The homeless man looked up when Maya approached him. His eyes were blue, but they looked sad and tired. Maya had never been this close to him before. She could see that his face was dirty, but his eyes were sharp and smart. "Excuse me," Maya said softly. She did not want to scare him. "I brought you something to eat." The man stared at her for a moment. He looked surprised, like he could not believe someone was talking to him. "For me?" he asked. His voice was rough, like he had not used it in a long time. "Yes," Maya said. She took one of the sandwiches out of the bag and held it out to him. "I thought you might be hungry." The man took the sandwich with shaking hands. "Thank you," he whispered. "What is your name?" "Maya," she said. "What is yours?" "Frank," the man said. "My name is Frank." Maya smiled at him. "It is nice to meet you, Frank. I hope you like the sandwich." Frank opened the paper wrapper and looked at the food. Maya could see that he was trying not to cry. "I have not had a hot meal in days," he said. Maya felt her heart break a little. She reached into the bag and took out the cup of coffee. "Here, take this too. It is getting cold outside." Frank took the coffee and held it with both hands, like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. Maya thought about it for a moment. "Because everyone deserves to eat," she said, "and because you look like you could use a friend." Frank nodded and took a bite of the sandwich. Maya could see him close his eyes as he tasted the food. She said goodbye and started to walk away. "Maya," Frank called after her. She turned around. "Will I see you again?" Maya smiled. "I come by here every morning after work. Maybe I will see you tomorrow." As Maya walked home, she felt good inside. She had only spent a few extra dollars, but it had made Frank happy. That was worth more than money to her. Frank watched Maya walk away. When she was gone, he took out a small old cell phone from his coat pocket. The phone looked broken, but when Frank pressed a button, it lit up with a bright screen. He typed a message. "Day 847. Found something interesting today. Will continue. Observation." Then he put the phone away and finished eating his sandwich. Maya had no idea that the homeless man she had just fed was one of the richest people in America. And Frank had no idea that this simple act of kindness would one day save the entire world. Maya had been feeding Frank for 6 months now. Every morning after her night shift, she would stop at Danny's diner and buy him a sandwich and coffee. Frank was always waiting in the same spot by the alley. He would smile when he saw her coming, and they would talk for a few minutes before Maya went home. Frank looked healthier now. His clothes were still old, but they were cleaner. His beard was shorter, and his eyes looked brighter. Maya felt good knowing she was helping him. She never asked Frank about his past or why he was living on the streets. She just treated him like a friend. That Tuesday morning started like any other day. Maya finished her shift at the hospital at 6 in the morning. She was tired because they had 3 emergency surgeries during the night. Her feet hurt, and her back was sore from standing for 12 hours. But she still walked to the diner to get Frank his breakfast. Danny waved at her when she walked in. "The usual?" he asked. "Yes, please," Maya said. She sat down and rubbed her tired eyes. Through the window, she could see Frank sitting in his usual spot. He was looking up at the sky with a strange expression on his face. "Here you go," Danny said, giving her the bag of food. "Tell Frank I said hello." Maya paid for the food and walked outside. The morning sky looked different today. There were strange clouds that did not move like normal clouds. They were too dark and too round. Maya looked up and felt a chill run down her back. "Frank," she called out as she walked toward him, "your breakfast is ready." But Frank was not looking at her. He was staring up at the sky with wide eyes. His hands were shaking, but not from hunger or cold. "Maya," he said in a whisper. "Look up." Maya looked up at the sky and gasped. The strange clouds were not clouds at all. They were huge ships, bigger than any building she had ever seen. There were dozens of them floating silently above the city. They were dark gray and shaped like triangles with smooth edges. "What are those?" Maya asked. Her voice was shaking. Before Frank could answer, every phone in the city started making noise at the same time. Emergency alerts were going off everywhere. People came out of buildings and stores to look at the sky. Cars stopped in the middle of the street. Everyone was pointing and shouting. Maya pulled out her phone. The screen showed an emergency message. "Unknown aircraft over all major cities. Stay indoors. Await further instructions." "This is not good," Frank said. He stood up slowly. his eyes still on the ships. "Maya, you need to get home to your daughter right now." Maya felt her heart racing. Sophie was at home alone, probably getting ready for school. "But what about you?" she asked Frank. "I will be fine," Frank said. "Go. Now." Maya started to run toward her apartment. Behind her, she could hear Frank's voice, but she could not understand what he was saying. She was too scared to think about anything except getting to Sophie. The streets were full of people now. Everyone was looking up at the ships and talking on their phones. Some people were crying. Others were taking pictures. Maya pushed through the crowd, trying to get home as fast as possible. Then the ships started to move. They came down lower, until they were just above the tallest buildings. Maya could see details on them now. They had no windows, but there were lines of light running along their sides. The light was not white or yellow like normal lights. It was purple and seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. A loud sound came from all the ships at once. It was not exactly a sound that Maya could hear with her ears. It was more like a feeling inside her head. The sound made her stop running and put her hands over her ears. Then a voice spoke. It did not come from the ships or from any speakers. The voice spoke directly inside everyone's mind, in every language they could understand. "People of Earth," the voice said. It sounded cold and without emotion. "We are the Zephyrian Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. You will stop all military actions and surrender immediately. Any resistance will be met with force." Maya felt sick to her stomach. This could not be real. Things like this only happened in movies, not in real life. But the ships were there, floating above her head, and the voice in her mind was real. The voice continued. "Your technology is primitive. Your weapons cannot harm us. You have 1 hour to contact your leaders and arrange for complete surrender. After that time, we will begin taking control of your cities." Maya started running again. She had to get to Sophie. Nothing else mattered now. Behind her, she could hear people screaming and crying. Car alarms were going off everywhere. The sound of the alien voice had made all the electronic devices go crazy. She reached her apartment building and ran up the stairs to the 3rd floor. She opened the door and called out, "Sophie, Sophie, where are you?" Her daughter came running, out of her bedroom. Sophie was 8 years old with long brown hair and big eyes like her mother. She looked scared and confused. "Mom, what is happening?" Sophie asked. "There are weird noises outside and the TV stopped working." Maya hugged her daughter tight. "I do not know, sweetheart, but we need to stay inside today. No school." They went to the window and looked outside. The alien ships were everywhere, now not just over the city center. Maya could see them in every direction. Some were big, some were smaller. All of them had the same purple lights. People were running in the streets below. Some were trying to drive away from the city, but the roads were too crowded. Others were going into stores and taking things without paying. Police cars were driving around with their sirens on. But Maya could see that the police were just as scared as everyone else. Meanwhile, back in the alley, Frank was no longer sitting on the ground like a helpless homeless man. He was standing straight and his eyes looked sharp and focused. He pulled out his old phone and pressed several buttons. The phone's screen lit up with complicated symbols and numbers. "Lisa," Frank said into the phone. "This is Franklin. Code red. Activate Protocol 7 immediately." On the other end of the phone, a woman's voice answered. "Franklin, is that really you? We thought you were dead." "Not dead," Frank said, watching the alien ships move across the sky. "Just waiting. How long until the systems are online?" "Give us 12 hours, Lisa said. "Are you sure about this? Once we start, there is no going back." Frank looked toward Maya's apartment building. He thought about the sandwich she had given him that morning, and all the sandwiches she had given him for the past 6 months. He thought about her kindness, even when she had so little for herself. "I am sure," Frank said. "It is time to show these aliens what humans are really capable of." Maya and Sophie stayed in their apartment all day, watching the news on Maya's phone since the TV was not working. The news reporters looked scared as they talked about the alien ships. Military jets had tried to attack the ships, but their missiles just bounced off like they hit nothing. The aliens had not hurt anyone yet, but everyone was afraid. "Mom, are the aliens going to hurt us?" Sophie asked. She was sitting close to Maya on the old couch, holding her favorite stuffed bear. "I do. Not no, sweetheart," Maya said. She tried to sound calm, but inside she was very scared. "But we will stay together, okay? No matter what happens." The phone rang and Maya jumped. It was the hospital calling all the nurses to come to work. They needed everyone because people were getting hurt in car accidents and fights. Maya did not want to leave Sophie alone, but she also knew that people needed her help. "I have to go to work," Maya told Sophie. "But Mrs. Johnson next door said you can stay with her." Sophie started to cry. "I do not want you to go. What if the aliens come?" Maya hugged her daughter. "The hospital is not far away. I will come back as soon as I can. I promise." Maya took Sophie to their neighbor's apartment and then hurried to the hospital. The streets were crazy. Some people were trying to leave the city in their cars, but there were too many cars and not enough roads. Other people were buying all the food and water they could find in the stores. At the hospital, Maya found organized chaos. Doctors and nurses were running everywhere, taking care of people who got hurt during the panic. The emergency room was full of people with broken bones, cuts, and heart problems from stress. "Maya, thank goodness you are here," said Dr. Williams, the head of the emergency room. "We need you in room 3. A family got hurt in a car accident while trying to leave the city." Maya worked for hours, helping people and trying not to think about the alien ships outside. Every time she looked out a window, she could see them, floating in the sky like giant dark clouds. Sometimes smaller ships would fly between the big ones, but they never came down to the ground. Meanwhile, across the city in a tall office building, Lisa Park was working frantically at her computer. Lisa was 35 years old with short black hair and glasses. She had been Franklin's business partner for 10 years before he disappeared. She now ran their company, Carter Technologies, by herself. The phone call from Franklin that morning had shocked her. For 5 years, she thought he was dead. The company had become very successful selling quantum computers to other businesses, but Lisa always wondered what happened to Franklin's secret projects. "Are you sure the resonance field generators are ready?" Franklin asked over the secure phone line. "We have been building them for 5 years, just like you designed," Lisa said, typing on her keyboard. "But Franklin, I still do not understand how they work. You said they run on human emotions?" "Not just emotions," Franklin said from his hiding place in an abandoned building near the alley where he used to sit. "They run on genuine human kindness, acts of love and sacrifice. The more real and selfless the act, the more power it creates." Lisa shook her head. "That sounds impossible. How can kindness create energy?" Franklin looked out the window at the alien ships. "I learned it from watching people on the streets. For 5 years I lived with the homeless, the poor, the forgotten. I saw things that my life as a rich man never let me see." He thought about Maya bringing him food every morning, even though she clearly did not have much money. He thought about other people he had met, a homeless woman who shared her blanket with strangers, a man who gave away his last dollar to buy medicine for someone else's sick child. "There is something special about humans," Franklin continued. "When we choose to help others even when it hurts us, it creates a kind of energy. I built machines that can capture that energy and turn it into power." Lisa was still confused, but she trusted Franklin. "The generators are hidden in hospitals, schools, churches, and homeless shelters in every major city, just like you wanted. But will it really work against alien technology? We will find out soon," Franklin said. At that moment, the aliens made their next move. The big ships stayed in the sky, but smaller ships started landing in parks and parking lots around the city. These ships were about the size of school buses, and they were full of alien soldiers. The aliens looked like humans, but taller and thinner. Their skin was pale gray, and their eyes were larger than human eyes. They wore tight-fitting suits that seemed to be made of metal and cloth together. Each alien carried a weapon that looked like a rod of silver light. Maya saw the first aliens when she looked out the hospital window. A small ship had landed in the parking lot across the street. 6 aliens came out and started walking toward the hospital entrance. Everyone stay calm, Dr. Williams announced over the hospital speakers. We are a hospital. We help people. Maybe they will leave us alone. But the aliens did not leave them alone. They walked into the hospital and began pointing their weapons at people. One alien, who seemed to be the leader, spoke in perfect English. This building will become a processing center, the alien said. All humans will be registered and assigned work duties. Medical staff will continue treating injured humans, but under our supervision. Maya felt angry. These aliens were taking over her hospital, the place where she helped people every day. They were treating humans like animals to be sorted and used. The alien leader pointed at Maya. You, come here. Maya walked toward the alien, her hands shaking. But before she could reach him, something strange happened. The alien's weapon started to flicker like a broken light bulb. The alien looked at it with confusion and tapped it several times. Equipment malfunction, the alien said to the others. Return to the ship for new weapons. But as they walked toward the exit, all of their weapons started flickering. Then, the lights on their suits began to flash on and off randomly. The aliens looked worried and started talking to each other in their own language. Maya did not know it, but at that exact moment, Franklin had activated the first resonance field generator. It was hidden in the basement of the hospital, right below where Maya was standing. The machine was powered by all the acts of kindness happening in the hospital. Doctors treating patients for free, nurses working extra hours to help people, volunteers comforting scared families. The alien technology was designed to work perfectly in space and on planets where people only cared about themselves. But it could not handle the kind of energy that came from humans who chose to help others. Franklin smiled as he watched the alien's confusion through the hospital security cameras on his quantum phone. Lisa, he said, activate generators 2 through 10. Let us see how much kindness this city can create. All across Seattle, hidden machines began to turn on. They were powered by every act of love, every moment of sacrifice, every time someone chose to help instead of hurt. And for the first time since the invasion began, the aliens started to look worried. The alien weapons kept getting weaker inside the hospital. Maya watched as the soldiers looked at their silver rods with confusion. The lights on their suits flickered like broken Christmas decorations. One alien hit his weapon against the wall, but it only made the flickering worse. Commander, one alien said to the leader, all our equipment is failing. We should return to the ship. The alien leader looked angry. Run a full diagnostic. This should not be possible. Maya felt a small bit of hope. Maybe these aliens were not as powerful as they seemed. She continued helping patients, but she kept watching the aliens out of the corner of her eye. 2 hours later, the hospital doors opened again. But this time, it was not aliens who walked in. It was a group of people in clean clothes carrying strange silver boxes. Leading them was a man Maya had never seen before, but something about him looked familiar. The man was tall with gray hair and blue eyes. He wore expensive clothes that looked new. His face was clean and his beard was trimmed short. But his eyes, Maya knew those eyes. Frank? Maya whispered. The man walked straight to her. Hello, Maya. My real name is Franklin Carter. We need to talk. Maya stared at him. This could not be the same homeless man she had been feeding for 6 months. This man looked rich and important, but his eyes were definitely Frank's eyes. I do not understand, Maya said. Who are you, really? Franklin looked around the hospital. The aliens had left to fix their weapons, but he knew they would be back soon. I know this is confusing. Can we find a quiet place to talk? Maya led him to a small break room where the nurses usually ate lunch. Franklin closed the door and sat down across from her. For the past 5 years, I have been living on the streets as a homeless man, Franklin said. But before that I was the owner of Carter Technologies. I am worth about $12 billion. Maya's mouth fell open. 12 billion? But you were hungry. You needed help. I chose to live that way, Franklin said. I wanted to understand what real humans are like when they have nothing. I wanted to see if people would still be kind when kindness cost them something. Maya felt confused and a little angry. So you lied to me? You let me give you food when I barely had enough money for my own daughter? Franklin looked sad. Every morning you bought me breakfast even though you were struggling. You never asked me for anything. You just wanted to help. That kindness taught me something very important about humans. He opened one of the silver boxes his people had brought. Inside was a device that looked like a small radio with glowing blue lights. This is a resonance amplifier, Franklin said. It takes human emotions and turns them into energy. But not just any emotions, it only works with real kindness, love, and sacrifice. Maya looked at the device. What does it do? It disrupts alien technology, Franklin said. Their machines work perfectly in space where there is no life. But they cannot handle the energy that comes from caring about others. He explained how he had spent 5 years building these machines and hiding them in places where humans naturally helped each other. Hospitals, schools, homeless shelters, churches, anywhere people chose to help instead of hurt. The machine in this hospital's basement is powered by everything good that happens here, Franklin said. Every time you help a patient, every time a doctor saves a life, every time someone comforts a scared family member, it all creates energy. Maya was starting to understand. That is why the alien weapon stopped working? Exactly, Franklin. But I need your help to make it work better. The machines need people who really care about others to operate them. Just then, Maya's phone rang. It was Mrs. Johnson, their neighbor. Maya, thank goodness, Mrs. Johnson said. She sounded scared. Sophie is asking for you. There are more alien ships landing near the school. All the children are scared. Maya felt her heart racing again. I have to go get my daughter, she told Franklin. I will come with you, Franklin said. And bring the amplifier. We are going to need it. They left the hospital together. Franklin's people stayed behind to set up more equipment. As they walked through the city, Maya could see that things were getting worse. More alien ships had landed and there were alien soldiers on every street corner. But something strange was happening too. Wherever the aliens went, their equipment kept breaking down. Their weapons would not fire properly. Their communication devices made weird noises. Some aliens had to take off their helmets because the air systems inside were not working. It is working, Franklin said as they walked. Every act of kindness in this city is making their technology weaker. They reached the school where Sophie and many other children were waiting with their teachers. The children looked scared, but the teachers were doing their best to keep everyone calm. One teacher was reading stories to the younger kids. Another was helping children call their parents on her own phone. Maya ran to Sophie and hugged her tight. I am here, sweetheart. Everything is going to be okay. Franklin watched the teachers taking care of the children. He could almost see the energy flowing from their kindness. These people were not being paid extra to stay here and comfort scared kids. They were doing it because they cared. Maya, Franklin said, I need you to help me set up amplifiers in places like this. Schools, community centers, anywhere people naturally help each other. Maya looked at all the scared children. Some were crying. Others were trying to be brave. The teachers kept working to make them feel safe, even though the teachers were probably scared too. Will it really help stop the aliens? Maya asked. Franklin nodded. Their whole empire is built on the idea that caring about others makes you weak. They have conquered dozens of planets where people only cared about themselves, but they have never met humans before. Maya made her decision. What do you need me to do? Franklin smiled. It was the same smile she remembered from their mornings by the alley, but now she understood why his eyes had always looked so intelligent. Help me show these aliens that human kindness is not weakness, Franklin said. It is the most powerful force in the universe. As if to prove his point, one of the alien ships flying overhead suddenly started smoking. Its engines made a loud grinding noise, and it had to make an emergency landing in the park across from the school. The alien pilot climbed out and looked at his broken ship with complete confusion. Maya smiled too. For the first time since the invasion started, she felt like maybe humans had a chance after all. Maya and Franklin worked together for the next 3 days. They traveled around Seattle with Franklin's team, setting up resonance amplifiers in every place where people helped each other. Maya knew the city well from her years as a nurse, so she could tell Franklin where to find the most caring people. They put amplifiers in the children's hospital, where parents stayed up all night taking care of sick kids. They put them in the homeless shelter, where volunteers served free meals to hungry people. They put them in the senior center, where young people read books to elderly people who could not see well anymore. Every place they went, Maya saw the same thing happening. When people were being kind to each other, the alien technology stopped working properly. The aliens' weapons would not fire. Their ships made strange noises. Their communication devices played music instead of transmitting messages. Sophie came, with them everywhere. Maya did not want to leave her daughter alone, and Franklin said it was actually helpful to have her there. Children create some of the strongest resonance energy, Franklin explained as they walked to another location. Kids help others without thinking about what they will get back. That pure kindness is very powerful. Sophie carried one of the smaller amplifiers in her backpack. She seemed to think it was all a big adventure. At each stop, she would help Franklin set up the devices while Maya talked to the people who worked there. At the children's hospital, Sophie met a little boy named Tommy who had cancer. Tommy was only 6 years old and very sick, but he was sharing his toys with other sick children. Sophie gave Tommy her favorite crayon set and helped him color pictures to give to the nurses. Franklin watched Sophie and Tommy coloring together. The amplifier in the room started glowing brighter as the two children shared their crayons and told each other jokes. Outside the window, an alien patrol ship suddenly lost power and had to land in the parking lot. "Did you see that?" Maya asked. Franklin. "The energy from children helping children is incredibly strong," Franklin said. "The aliens have no defense against it." Meanwhile, the aliens were getting more and more frustrated. Commander Zex, the leader of the invasion force, called a meeting with all his officers. "Our equipment failures are now at 70%, Commander Zex said. His gray skin looked darker when he was angry. "Our weapons do not work. Our ships keep breaking down. Our soldiers cannot even use their radios properly." "Sir," said Lieutenant Cars, "our scientists think it might be some kind of electromagnetic interference, but we cannot find the source." Commander Zex hit the table with his fist. "We have conquered 43 planets. We have never had problems like this before. What makes these humans different?" The aliens did not understand that. Their problems came from human kindness because their own species had forgotten how to care about others thousands of years ago. The Zephyrian Empire was built on the idea that only the strong should survive. They never helped anyone who could not help them back. On the fourth day, Franklin made an announcement on every working radio and television in the city. Maya helped him record the message. "People of Seattle," Franklin said into the camera. "My name is Franklin Carter. I am the owner of Carter Technologies, and I have a message for everyone." Maya stood beside him, holding Sophie's hand. Behind them, you could see one of the resonance amplifiers glowing with blue light. "The alien invaders can be defeated," Franklin continued, "but not with guns or bombs. They can be defeated with kindness. Every time you help someone else, every time you choose love over fear, you make their technology weaker." Maya stepped forward. "I am Maya Rodriguez. I am a nurse at Seattle General Hospital. For months, I fed a homeless man every morning because I thought he needed help. I had no idea he was preparing to save all of us." Sophie waved at the camera. "Hi everyone, my name is Sophie. My mom says that being nice to people is always the right thing to do, and now being nice can help save the world." Franklin smiled. "We have hidden devices throughout the city that turn your kindness into energy. The more you help others, the stronger we become. So please help your neighbors. Take care of sick people. Share food with hungry people. Comfort those who are scared." The message spread quickly. Even though the aliens had tried to shut down the internet and television, Franklin's quantum technology got the message through to every device in the city. People began to understand. In apartment buildings, neighbors started sharing food and water. In hospitals, volunteers came to help take care of patients. In schools, older kids helped younger kids feel less scared. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All across the city, Alien technology began failing completely. Ships fell from the sky and crashed in parks and parking lots. Alien weapons turned into useless metal sticks. Communication systems went completely silent. Commander Zex watched in horror as his mighty invasion force became helpless. His flagship, a massive ship that could destroy entire cities, was now drifting powerlessly above downtown Seattle. "Sir," Lieutenant Carr said, "our engineers say the power cores are being drained by some unknown force. They recommend immediate evacuation to space." But it was too late. The resonance energy was now so strong that even the alien ships in space were starting to have problems. Other cities around the world were copying Seattle's example. Franklin had given the plans for the amplifiers to scientists everywhere. In New York, people were gathering in Central Park to help each other. In London, citizens were bringing food to anyone who needed it. In Tokyo, strangers were sharing umbrellas in the rain. Maya watched from the hospital roof as alien ships crashed all around the city. None of the aliens were hurt badly because their ships had safety systems, but they were definitely defeated. "Is it really over?" Maya asked Franklin. Franklin put his arm around her shoulders. "This battle is over. But Maya, what you taught me about kindness, that is something humanity will never lose. And as long as humans care about each other, no one will ever be able to conquer us." Sophie jumped up and down excitedly. "We won! We won! And we did it just by being nice." Maya laughed and picked up her daughter. She looked out over the city where people were already coming out of their homes to help the crashed alien pilots. Even after being invaded, humans were choosing to help rather than hurt. Franklin was right. This was humanity's greatest strength, and it could never be taken away. 2 weeks after the alien ships crashed, Seattle looked like a different city. The broken alien ships had been moved to safe areas where scientists could study them. The alien soldiers were being kept in special camps, but they were treated well. Humans brought them food and medical care, even though they had tried to conquer Earth. Maya was back to working at the hospital, but now she also helped Franklin with his new project. They were building more resonance amplifiers to send to other countries around the world. The technology was no longer secret. Franklin wanted every human on Earth to understand how their kindness could protect them. Sophie had become famous after the broadcast. News reporters from everywhere wanted to interview the little girl who helped save the world. But Sophie just wanted to go back to school and play with her friends. She did keep one of the small amplifiers in her bedroom. It glowed softly blue when she was being especially nice to someone. One morning, Maya and Sophie went to visit the place where Franklin used to sit as a homeless man. The city had built a small park there with a bench and some flowers. A sign said, "In memory of every small act of kindness that saved the world." Franklin was sitting on the bench, but he was not alone. Next to him sat an alien named Commander Zex. The alien leader who had tried to conquer Earth was now talking quietly with Franklin about human nature. "I still do not understand," Commander Zex was saying as Maya and Sophie approached. "Our empire has existed for 10,000 years. We conquered 43 worlds. How did we lose to a species that gives food to strangers?" Franklin smiled when he saw Maya coming. "Ask her," he said. "Maya, Commander Zex wants to know why you fed me every morning when you thought I was homeless." Maya sat down on the bench, across from them. Sophie climbed onto Franklin's lap like he was her grandfather. The alien commander looked at them with his large gray eyes. "Why did you give food to someone you did not know?" Commander Zex asked Maya. "What did you gain from it?" Maya thought about it for a moment. "I did not gain anything," she said. "I just saw someone who looked hungry, and I had enough money to buy him breakfast. It seemed like the right thing to do." Commander Zex shook his head. "But you had very little money. You could have saved it for your own family. Why waste it on a stranger?" "It was not wasted," Maya said. "Making someone else feel better made me feel better too. And it taught Sophie that helping others is important." Sophie nodded. "My mom always says that sharing makes everything better. Even if you do not have much, you can still share a little bit." The alien commander was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke again. "Our species stopped caring about others many centuries ago. We decided that caring about someone weaker than you was a waste of time and energy. We built our empire on that idea. Franklin leaned forward. What happened to your people when you stopped caring about each other? We became very efficient, Commander Zek said. We built powerful weapons and fast ships. We conquered many worlds. But we also became empty inside. We forgot how to be happy. We forgot how to love our families. We only cared about power and control. Maya felt sorry for the alien. That sounds very lonely. It was, Commander Zex admitted. When I saw humans helping each other even after we invaded, I remembered something my grandmother told me when I was very young. She said that a civilization that cannot love is already dead, even if it still moves. Franklin nodded. That is why your technology could not handle our resonance energy. Your machines were built by people who had forgotten how to care, but human technology works best when it is used to help others. Over the following month, something amazing happened. Some of the aliens decided they did not want to go back to their empire. They wanted to stay on Earth and learn how to care about others again. Commander Zex was one of them. Maya helped teach the aliens how to be kind. It was not easy for them at first. They had been taught for so long that helping others was weakness. But slowly, they began to understand. Franklin used his money to build schools where humans and aliens could learn together. He also built homes for people who did not have places to live. The resonance amplifiers were still working, powered by all the good things happening in the schools and shelters. Maya became the director of Franklin's new foundation. Her job was to make sure the money was used to help people who needed it most. She made sure that homeless people had food and shelter. She made sure that sick people could see doctors even if they could not pay. She made sure that children had safe places to learn and play. Sophie grew up to become a teacher. She taught both human and alien children how to read and write. But more importantly, she taught them how to be kind to each other. Her classroom always had one of Franklin's amplifiers, and it glowed brightest during story time when she read books about friendship and helping others. Franklin never went back to living in expensive houses or wearing fancy clothes. He found a small apartment near the park where his bench was located. Every morning he would sit on the bench and talk to people who walked by. Sometimes he met homeless people who needed help. Sometimes he met aliens who were trying to learn how to be kind. Sometimes he just met regular people who wanted to chat. But every morning, Maya would stop by with coffee and a breakfast sandwich for Franklin. It had become their tradition. Even though Franklin could now buy his own food, Maya still brought it to him. It was not about the food anymore. It was about friendship. One morning, as they sat on the bench watching Sophie play, with some alien children in the park, Maya asked Franklin a question. Do you think the Zephyrians will ever come back and try to invade again? Franklin smiled and pointed at the children playing together. Human kids and alien kids were sharing toys and laughing together. In the distance, the resonance amplifiers glowed softly blue, powered by all the kindness in the city. As long as humans keep caring about each other, Franklin said, no one will ever be able to conquer us. And now we are teaching others how to care too. I think the universe is about to become a much kinder place. Maya agreed. She watched her daughter teaching an alien child how to tie shoes, and she knew that the future would be bright. The most powerful weapon in the universe was not a gun or a bomb. It was a kind heart and a willingness to help others. And that was something that could never be defeated.